you will, cause I...
You have to speak up. I can barely hear you.
I can barely hear you.
Kind of.
Sphincter says what? We are on the 91 going
You will...
east.
Anything,
down to...
maybe I'll stop by the store or
We're
something.
going to be passing by Knott's Berry Farm, I think. And
Yeah, I'll go to the store.
this is the California freeway. Can't even believe. Look at this. It's traffic, man.
Hey, Timmy, how does Chinese sound?
Chinese sound very good. This is the 91 freeway. Right
Do you have salad there?
Cherry Avenue, which is just down by
Maybe
kind
I'll
of
just
like
pick something up at the store.
710. We've been drinking Bloody Marys and beers, and then we had a burger. But
No, you don't.
more. Actually, they weren't Bloody Marys. They were
No steak?
enchiladas. They're basically
What would you like if I decided to hit the store?
spicy red beers. And I'm telling you, these yellow peppers that they give at Hananos is...
Okay, fine.
I like spice, but
Okay. Chinese is fine.
3 or 4 of them in a row because
Chinese is
I
fine.
took the ones that
Okay.
they give you with the burger on the side, and I put them in my... What's the name of that? Shed it. What's the name of the... It's Michelada?
Michelada.
Because it meets you a lotta.
Cerveza.
Look at that. Traffic. We are at El Cerrito, I think, Lakewood Boulevard, because we're coming up onto the motor area of El Cerrito Auto Center. Him and I grew up together. We actually grew up together. So Greg and I were 3 years apart. I was older, and I went a couple summers to visit.
Is this your stop, sir?
Yeah.
Lakewood Boulevard?
Yeah, you can just drop me off right here.
597.
So we're on the 91 though, right?
Yes.
Okay. So I go to Moscow, Idaho for a summer, and I always came up with these ideas, and Greg was like, no, that we'll get in trouble, blah, blah, blah. And somehow I talked him into going tadpole hunting with me, and we took a huge, like, industrial size glass pickle jar, cleared out, but we went to this pond and we packed it to the gills with tadpoles. You remember that?
I do.
And we had a pond here. It was like a little pond, maybe maybe a 10 by 5 by 10 or something like that. And we dumped it into another pond and made a second pond so we could get the tadpoles. That was our gimmick for like 2 hours or something. I mean, like a long time. And as soon as we got back up to the house, it was like we got sent back around. Like, you take those. No, you're not coming in the house with those. Turn back around, and we had to go dump them back. So our 2 hours worth of work was squelched right there.
Squashed. In trouble again.
Yes. And then I remember there was a yard sale right around the corner, and I found a used chemistry set for like $25. It had a couple things missing, and I brought it back with fucking ear-to-ear grin. And I remember your dad, it was like on a Saturday, and he was like, nope, turn that back around and go get your money back. And I was like, same thing. I was like, but I just negotiated. You don't understand what kind of sweet deal this is. And all they could picture was...
There is a moral to the story.
There is a moral to the story is somebody that was, I guess, a little curious hellion had the possibility of possibly... burning. I mean, that's what I'm thinking. They're thinking, like, oh my God, it's like, who knows what's in that thing? Something to catch fire, something to burn a hole. It's like, I don't know. So that's what happened. It was constantly, because you know the story of basically, like in Anchorage with my mom's boutique, right?
No.
Oh, my mom had a clothing boutique in Anchorage, of all places. She was a stewardess, so she flew to Europe to get a bunch of clothes samples and stuff and to bring them over and basically sell them. So I had to have been about 4. And she's on this boutique on Northern Lights, which is kind of one of the main strips off of, you have downtown and then you have like Midtown. And so Northern Lights is right along Midtown. And it's kind of like this strip mall kind of thing, a bunch of shops, with parking right in front that's basically maybe a block long or whatever. Some guy comes in and he goes, do you have a little son that's about 4 years old and he's about this tall? She's like, yes. Well, yes, I do. And she goes, do you happen to have a white Mustang Fastback? And she's like, why, yes, I do. And he's like, well, he's outside painting it. And I had taken some of Grandpa's, and I don't know where it came from, but remember it was this black paint it had metallic sparkles in it. And I had either a corner panel or one of the fenders completely done on a white. And it was Grandma Leapsack's Mustang, and it was like, and I had it complete, and I had an ear-to-ear smile because I thought I was doing good. So that's the kind of shit that I would get into, and that's where I think them with the chemistry set, there was like, no, we can't watch him every time, so turn that around. We're not gonna, no.
Take it back.
Yeah, take it back. So that's
your story. Sticking to it.
Yeah, sticking to it.
That's funny.
But there was a lot of stuff like that where we had got in trouble where it was like John and I doing stuff where it was like, I mean, we had a party. We drank at 7. I was 7 years old. John was 9.
First beer?
No, it was it was banana liqueur, blackberry brandy, and I think Jonna was there, but you weren't there. But it was like, I'm pretty sure Jonna was there. I know the twins were there. Christian and Tanya were there. They got sick.
They drank as well.
And
huh?
John was there, and it was the summer that you guys drove the 442 down, or the Oldsmobile or whatever down, and you guys spun it around. It almost like it went off.
God, you remember that? I remember that.
Yeah. So you had to have been there then. If you came down on that trip, you were there.
Yeah.
That was in Vegas. It was a going away party for everybody to go back, and everybody got sick except for me. John and I were like flopping, like we took the pillows off the couch and we put them down, and we were jumping from the top of the couch to the springs and flipping over onto the pads because we were so amped up on the sugar and from the alcohol. But we were 7.
The rest is history.
Yeah, 7 years old. I might have been 6, but I'm pretty sure it was at Elizabeth, so I was 6, 7, or 8.
Kool-Aid with a punch.
Because I lived there for 3 years, so.
You were there for years.
Yeah. And so you had to have been 5 if I was 8. It was John, and I know John, so I'm thinking John was 8, I was probably 6, and you were probably turning 4.
I feel like somebody was passed out. That might have been Ryan at a...
You know, Ryan supposedly drank...
Grandma's?
No, at a reception, wedding reception. He was taking all the booze, that remainder off of the...
This looks good.
But the same thing, like your mom doesn't remember allowing me to have, like she's watching soap operas and I was bugging her and I was like, let me blow a smoke ring. She gave it to me and I remember I didn't inhale because obviously I didn't know how to. So I remember smoking cigarettes after that, but I never inhaled. And so same thing, I smoked pot at 10 years old, but I never inhaled. And so we get to Anchorage and one of the guys that's in my class wanted to try some. And we go, somebody gave us stalks, and I'm talking like a bush. And we went up, and there's this place called Family Market that was right up the street. And we went up, and the family that owned it, the youngest daughter was like a little bit like maybe Jim's age. So she was like 6 years older than us. So she was at least 16. I was 11, so she's at least 5 years older. She traded us a joint right in line. She goes, "What's that?" We're like, it's weed. It's weed stock or something like that." And she's like, "What are you gonna do with it?" We're like, smoke it or something. She goes, "I'll trade you a joint for it." We were like, "Okay." And then we went to Inlet View Towers, which they have these little divots in the basement things that you could step into. We stepped into them, like they're where the windows are, but outside, and they're like for snow or whatever. We stepped into them and broke a joint in half, and gave him half, and I took half, and then we lit it. But I never inhaled. I still didn't inhale. He got high off of it. I didn't.
You didn't.
Right? And so I didn't learn until the next year that you're supposed to fucking inhale. But I tried it.
This is cool.
I don't know why people get addicted to this. I don't know how people get high on this. Oh, you're supposed to inhale. Yeah. So.
You guys are too funny, dude.
Yeah. So, I mean, there was some stuff that basically, I was around stuff a lot.
I'm trying to think. Yeah, you and Johnny went at it more than.
Well, John was the one that was always. I was curious. I was never deviant. John's deviant. Like, John has the ability where he should have been a lawyer, because he sees like, oh, there's an opening there. Like, he sees shit. I'm just like, what the fuck is this? Let me try this. I'm like more just Curious George kind of shit, where he's like wants to do it to see like I would steal out of necessity, maybe. He would steal just to fucking see if he can get away with it. That's the difference. So la la la. So we're still traveling. This is the 91. We got Passage going. We're coming up probably to Knott's Berry Farm here. Yeah, Knott's Avenue in Orange. That's the county line. The Orange County line. It doesn't even look orange. Where's it looks green to me. Cypress College. So this is the fun. That's Greg, by the way, if I didn't say his name before. And we're probably 25 minutes from our destination, which is Yorba Linda, which is where Nixon was born. They have a Nixon library. That's the claim to fame. Arnold Schwarzenegger almost bought a house there. It's very Republican kind of terrain, wouldn't you say, Greggs?
I would say pretty conservative.
Yeah, pretty conservative. You go in there, and if your zipper's down, you get fined. True? True story? Your shoes are untied, you get fined. If your hair is not combed, or you don't have a hat, you get fined. They penalize you. So we had a good time at Hananos, but I don't understand my last video. I did like 15 minutes in front of Hananos talking to a couple people that were there. Because, dude, I'm telling you, you get a lot of characters, especially during the summer, that is out in that area. And it's like, Venice girls, you got to watch out for, because they're never who they say they are. I don't know what that means, but they're never who they say they are.
Do tell.
Well, it's like girls in Hollywood you got to watch out for, because they're all actresses and they're all shifty. Okay, that's a generalization, but for the most part, they're all shifty. A lot of them are shifty. You go to Venice and they're shifty, but it's like a different kind of shifty. It's like they'll lie. It's just different. I don't know how to say it. You just got to watch Venice girls. That's all I got to say. So, and Hollywood girls. And then Valley girls are decent. West Side girls are okay for the most part, like Santa Monica girls. But it's completely, West Side has a ton of money. You got the Palisades, and then Palisades are south by Redondo, and then what's the one that's north of Santa Monica?
Malibu.
Yeah, it's in between Malibu and Santa Monica.
I thought that was Palisades.
Yeah, well, there's Pacific Palisades is one, and then Palos Verdes. Palos Verdes is north. Pacific Palisades is south, right?
Verdes is south.
Oh, Palos Verdes is south, and Pacific Palisades is north. But it's like big time moolah. And then to the right of that is Brentwood, and then Westwood, and then UCLA is right there, which is UCLA is like fucking like $60,000 to attend a year, isn't it? It's got to be. Like USC's like that.